Good morning. Welcome to session 1 for class 12, chapter number 1, and this chapter is Macroeconomics Introduction. Students, as we discussed in class 11, that economics is a study of problem and theory of choice. Choice because economics deals with unlimited desire or wants and limited resources, which can be put to alternative use to get maximum benefit. But now in class 12, we are going to proceed further. Let us see that economics is divided into two. What are these two? One is microeconomics, other is macroeconomics. As microeconomics, these micro words came from Greek word mikros, M-I-K-R-O-S, which means small. Now it shows that this particular stream of economics deals with unit of study. Unit of study, which are the units which normally dealt by microeconomics? Let us see. Household, normal household, firm, industry. That means individual unit is dealt by microeconomics. Now the objective of microeconomics is optimum allocation of resources. I discussed this thing in class 11, but let me again discuss that optimum means maximum profit, minimum cost. That's called optimum allocation of resources, that we need to allocate the resource in such a way so that we get maximum profit with minimum cost. What are the subject matters of microeconomics? Now just see, is there in your book and your material, your book which you are going to follow, page number 3, you will get this entire flow chart. And the flow chart shows that subject matters of microeconomics is product market and product pricing, factor market and factor pricing, welfare economics. Now what comes under product market and product pricing? First one is theory of product pricing. Next, theory of cost. Next, theory of production, theory of demand. This all come under your product market. When we go to factor market and factor pricing, we can see that normally what are the factor of production? As you know, the factor of productions are 4: land, labor, capital and entrepreneur. So just see the determination of wages, what you have to give to the factor of production. Determination of wages is for the labor. Determination of your interest which you give it to the capital. Determination of rent which you give it to the land, and determination of profit. Now let us go to the other aspects with macroeconomics. Now macroeconomics, as the name shows, this word M-A-C-R-O, macro, comes from the Greek word makros, M-A-K-R-O-S. This macro means large. Large itself shows that it deals with the whole sum, whole unit. So it deals with the economy as a whole. So this is very important, as a whole, entire economics. That means the economy of the nation, economy of the international surroundings. So here economics deals with more large spectrum or the generalization. So where we deals with generally national income, money, policy. Now since its lockdown is going on, this aspect is very important. Monetary and fiscal policy. Now what is monetary policy? Normally monetary policy is taken by the government with the help of the Apex institution. Now in India, Apex institution for monetary policy is, as you know, RBI, and fiscal policy is the policy taken up by the government. Employment, general price level, investment and economic growth. This all aspect is dealt by macroeconomics. Now what is the objective? As you know, in microeconomics, the objective was optimum allocation of resources. Here the objective is fuller utilization of productive resources. That means the productive resources which we have, we should use it in full extent. That means fuller utilization. So this is what is the objective of macroeconomics. Now, what are the subject matter of macroeconomics? This is little different from the microeconomics. Microeconomics we deals with the individual, but in macroeconomics we deal with in general. So here we deal with theory of output and employment, theory of international trade, theory of general price level, theory of national income, theory of money, theory of economic growth. So these are the subject matter of macroeconomics. Now students, we will go in the next session to another part, and which are two parts are remaining in this particular chapter. One is the difference between micro and macro, and the interdependence between micro and macro. See you in the next session. Thank you. Good morning students. I welcome you to the second session of chapter number 1, class 12. So now, as in the first session, we have already discussed about what is micro, what is macro, and wholesome discussion what we have done there. There's few points which is very important right now for session 2, is that micro is for the individual, which is for the small unit, and macro for in general or the whole country-wise or international spectrum. So whole is for macro and small unit for micro. Now let us go in detail of the difference between micro and macro. Very important, and it keep coming. This particular questions keep coming in the board. So now for microeconomics, as we have discussed, deal with one segment or the small segment, and macroeconomics deal with whole economy. Microeconomics deals with the economic decision making process of an individual. Maybe it's a consumer, maybe it's a producer, but a small unit. But macroeconomics deals with the aggregate or average, average means entire economy is taking the decision. So it deals with the aggregate and average or the entire economy. Next, third, it deals with the homogeneous product. What is homogeneous? Same kind of product. And here it is heterogeneous. Heterogeneous means different product. We discussed last time also that microeconomics deals with optimization goal of individual. Optimization, as we discussed, minimum of cost and maximum of profit. So microeconomics deals with the optimum allocation of resources, where macroeconomics deals with the optimization of growth process. That means full utilization of productive resources. So it it deals with the optimization of growth process of whole economy. It doesn't depend on individual, it depends on whole. Similarly, you can see the difference. It based on the microeconomics deals with or based on full employment in economy, whereas in macroeconomics it assumes that economy is in underemployment. That means it's assumed in macroeconomics that still now the economy is not reached to the fuller employment. Whereas microeconomy based its study by assuming that there is a full employment in economy. Now last point, microeconomics assume partial equilibrium. Since, as I discussed, that microeconomics deals with a small unit, they only deals with that particular way. Suppose I am discussing about demand, I will assume supply and other variable to be constant, because I will only deal with partial equilibrium, as we discussed in our statistics parts in class 11, that is correlation, what is called partial relationship. Partial relationship means we deals with two variable keeping other variable constant. So that we discuss in micro, that we deal with the partial equilibrium, and in macroeconomics we deals with quasi general equilibrium. We assume that it is for the general, it is not for a partial, because it's an overall thing. So I'll go to the next part. Now the last and concluding part of session 2, that microeconomics and macroeconomics, as we discussed, that there are two different branches of economics, but we need to now think, are they different or they are complementing to each other? Complement means both go hand in hand. As the word says, that micro and macroeconomics both are a part of economics, and from 70, both the economics are being discussed at a length in a different way, but still it is said that microeconomics and macroeconomics are complement to each other. Complement means both are important. Now students, if you see macroeconomics, which deals with the whole economy, now to make the whole economy optimum, or make the flourishing the economy as a whole, we need to deal with the individual. Similarly, for an individual person to grow, or individual person to earn more wages, more interest or more rent, we need to have a good economic system as a whole. So you cannot distinguish that, okay, this is completely microeconomics chapter or this is completely macroeconomics chapters. No, not like that. Microeconomics required macroeconomic support also, and macroeconomics require microeconomic support. Now students, all this lecture of session 1 and session 2 of this particular chapter number 1, I will be giving you this particular note in the next slides. Please have patience and go to those slides in this video, and make sure that you pause and write down those slides contain, so that you make a proper note. Make a copy, and in that copy write chapter number 1 with the title Microeconomics, Macroeconomics Introduction, and jot down all the points which I'll be giving you in this video. Pause the video and write down all the points which is coming. I hope I made you clear, and in the last part of the video I'll be giving you for your questions. Try to write down the answer, and once the school will get open, we will discuss about the homework. That you just think that those are the homework. Read this chapter carefully, and make sure that after reading the chapter, go to the summary part. You will get all the answers there. Please prepare a fine note, and be happy and keep on working hard. We are all together. Stay safe, stay at home.